Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a truly cinematic moment from the 2026 Major League Baseball season. Picture this for a second. It's July 23rd. Busch Stadium is absolutely packed with over 32,000 fans. And the Arizona Diamondbacks are about to script an unforgettable comeback against the St. Louis Cardinals. Honestly, this isn't just a story about a single baseball game. It's really a story about sudden opportunity, incredible team resilience, and a rookie stepping up when his team needed him the absolute most.
So imagine you're a rookie. You show up to the ballpark expecting to just sit on the bench, right? You're observing, taking mental notes, basically just waiting for your turn. Then, out of nowhere, the starting lineup gets completely ripped up. What actually happens when a late scratch abruptly thrusts a backup into the spotlight during a high-pressure, midsummer matchup? Well, as we're about to see, sometimes it produces absolute magic.
High stakes in St. Louis.
Here is the situation. You've got a 54-49 Arizona team fighting desperately to catch the powerhouse Los Angeles Dodgers in the NL West. The Dodgers are sitting pretty comfortably at 65-38, which leaves the Diamondbacks 11 games back. At this stage of the season, every single win is absolutely crucial to keep those postseason dreams alive. It makes practically every game a must-win scenario.
And talk about momentum. Coming into this matchup in the Week 17 MLB Power Rankings, the Dodgers held steady at number 1, sure, but the Diamondbacks, they were surging. They moved up 3 spots to number 14. They were clearly a team finding their rhythm, winning 9 of their last 11 games. But, momentum can be incredibly fragile when unexpected hurdles pop up literally right before the first pitch.
An unexpected hero. Let's break down the absolute chaos right before the game started. Initially, the lineup is posted, shared with the Cardinals. Everything is business as usual. But then, star second baseman Ketel Marte becomes a late scratch. The Arizona coaching staff has to scramble instantly. They rewrite the entire infield, shifting guys around, and ultimately, they insert rookie Tyler Locklear at first base, slotting him into the 8th spot in the batting order. To really appreciate why Locklear's performance was so special, we got to look at his journey. Drafted by the Mariners in 2022, he gets traded to Arizona in July 2025 in a pretty high-profile swap, but 2026 brought some serious adversity. He suffered an elbow injury that required surgery and was put on the injured list back in March. After a grueling recovery process, he was just recalled to the Major League roster on July 17th. That is less than a week before this game. I love this headline because it perfectly captures his mindset. Super sub Locklear, always ready. He wasn't supposed to start that day. But in professional sports, when preparation meets a sudden opportunity, that's what makes legends. He stepped into that batter's box completely ready to prove he belonged back in the big leagues. The turning point. Right out of the gate, the tension was through the roof. Before Arizona starter Pfaadt could even record a single out, the Cardinals jumped to a 2-0 lead. The first 3 St. Louis batters reached base, fueled by a massive RBI double from Jordan Walker on the very first pitch he saw, which, by the way, came right off a standing ovation for his recent home run derby win. The pressure was on immediately. And that tension carried right into the pivotal 4th inning. After Locklear hit a leadoff double in the 2nd that kind of went nowhere, the 4th inning changed everything. Down 2-0, Max Kepler draws a leadoff walk, and Adrian Del Castillo doubles. Then, a Tim Tawa sacrifice fly cuts the lead to 2-1. And suddenly, with the tying run just 90 feet away, it's Locklear's turn against Cardinals starter Michael McGreevy. In what felt like a movie, Locklear gets a hold of a changeup from McGreevy and absolutely crushes it. He pulls his first home run of the season deep down the left field line, dropping it right into the seats. With just one swing of the bat, this unexpected super sub vaults the Diamondbacks ahead 3-2. And spoiler alert, it was a lead they would never give back.
Pfaadt holds the lie. We have to talk about the contrast in Brandon Pfaadt's outing, because it was wild. In that brutal first inning, he gives up 4 hits and 2 runs to the very first batters he faces. But instead of crumbling, he dances out of a bases-loaded jam. And for the next 5 innings, it was total dominance. He allowed just 3 scattered hits and 0 runs across his remaining 20 batters faced.
6 incredibly solid innings. That bounce-back performance earned Pfaadt his 5th win of the season. More importantly, it laid down the foundation for the Arizona offense to go to work in the later innings without constantly looking over their shoulders.
Late inning explosion. By the time the 8th inning rolled around, Arizona put on an absolute clinic. They sent a staggering 11 batters to the plate. Locklear struck again, lining a sharp RBI single right up the middle off Matt Svanson. When the dust finally settled, Arizona had piled on 5 runs off the Cardinals' bullpen. They transformed what had been a really tight 10 scheme into an absolute rout. What's super fascinating to me is when exactly this Arizona offense woke up. They were completely shut out in the first 3 innings, nothing. But then they chipped away with 4 runs in the middle innings and finally exploded for 6 runs in the 8th and 9th. It is a literal textbook example of wearing a pitching stuff down over the course of a long game. 16 hits. That is a massive number. By the end of the afternoon, the Diamondbacks had racked up 16 hits. And this was actually the second day in a row of relentless offense for them, having just tallied a season-high 17 hits the day prior. The final impact. So let's recap Tyler Locklear's incredible micro-heroes journey for a second. From a guy who wasn't even supposed to be holding a bat that day to the undeniable MVP of the game. He finishes 3 for 4 at the plate, mashes his first home run, drives in 3 RBIs, and walks away with a scorching .385 average for his limited time in the big leagues this year. Just incredible. And for St. Louis, this one stung. As one reporter pointed out, less than a week prior, the Cardinals had blown a 7-0 lead against this exact same Arizona team in the biggest rally in D-backs history. And as they summed it up, on Thursday, it was a rout. It just goes to show that no lead is truly safe against an offense that finds its rhythm. Which brings us to the big question. The Diamondbacks are surging. Their pitching is locking in, and unexpected heroes like Tyler Locklear are proving that they are, in fact, always ready. So can this explosive offense and incredible team resilience provide the spark Arizona desperately needs to close that 11-game gap and overtake the Dodgers? Only time will tell, but games like this comeback definitely prove they have the firepower to make it a fascinating race. Thanks for learning with us today on The Explainer.